Bros here, bring you another Hyundai A-League fixture preview for the fixtures of week 24. Now, bit disappointing of a week, to be honest. For me, it was a bit disappointing, but overall, it wasn't as exciting as what I thought it would have been. Honestly, it was a bit disappointing overall. But, we're still here. We're still going to talk about it. So let's get into it. The first game of the weekend saw Melbourne City climb to the top of the table thanks to their 3-1 win against a 10-man Brisbane Roar. Petratos opened the scoring for Brisbane Roar in the first half when the visitors took the lead, the 22nd minute, I believe it was, and they managed to take the lead into the half-time break. Things weren't too bad for Brisbane, but then Hingett managed to get a second yellow card. He brought down Fornaroli inside the penalty area. Penalty was given. Hingett's off. Moy steps up, slots the penalty home. He sends, who was it? He sends Theo? No, what couldn't be Theo, could it? He sent the keeper the wrong way anyway. It might have been Young, actually. Sent him the wrong way, and it's 1-1. They're back in the game, but then Melbourne City put their foot down. They scored 2 goals in the last 10 minutes. Casares scores 1. It's 3-1, and they managed to climb to the top of the table. So it was good. Melbourne City, although they are rivals of my team, they perform well. They did perform well, and they've really shown why they deserve to be up there. But they didn't last there for long. The second game of the weekend saw Sydney FC draw 2-2 with Central Coast Mariners. What a shock this was. Absolute shock. Blackwood opened up the scoring for Sydney FC when he scored just after the opening 10 minutes. Shane Smeltz added the second for Sydney just before the halftime break. Things were looking great for Sydney, and they were on cruise control. It looked like they were going to ease off in the second half. And game, set, and match after 45 minutes. That's how Sydney FC were looking at things. But then Central Coast found a bit of inspiration late on, and they managed to bag 2 goals. That is correct. O'Donovan started the late comeback for Central Coast when he scored in the 86th minute, and obviously Central Coast weren't finished there. Ascroft managed to score the equaliser for Central Coast 5 minutes later in the 91st minute when his shot went through the hands of Janjetovic and into the back of the net. Janjetovic made a huge mistake, and it cost Sydney FC 2 points, which is huge. It is absolutely huge at this point of the season. Whether he's going to get dropped, I don't know. But Sydney FC let slip. It cost them. Central Coast had nothing to play for except dignity and pride. And I'll tell you what, they got something out of it. So Central Coast, congratulations and thank you for doing a job for Melbourne Victory. The third game of the weekend saw a tight affair between Western Sydney Wanderers and Adelaide United, which ended in a 0-0 draw. Both teams had good chances. They were unable to find the back of the net. Western Sydney looked like the real threatening team throughout the whole game. They managed 16 shots compared to Adelaide's 3, and they also controlled possession. They had nearly 60% possession, I think it was. Only the real talking point of the game, obviously Santalab hit the post late in the game, but the point is, Kamor, the young star from Adelaide United, he found his feet, and he was booked. He got a yellow card for simulation when he ran around the goalkeeper. Now, let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Was it simulation? Was it not? I'm not going to have an opinion. I haven't seen the highlight, so I can't tell you, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. But we need to look at things like this. Both teams are not happy because they didn't pick up 3 points. They both only picked up a point. The title race is crazy. They could have really edged a gap. None of them did. Western Sydney picked up a point, and then also, obviously, Adelaide United picked up a point, which still leaves 4 teams in the mix with 3 games left to go. But a draw did see Western Sydney pick up a point. They overtook Melbourne City and managed to climb back to the top of the table. Melbourne City, one day on the top of the table. Congratulations, but you didn't last there long. The fourth game of the weekend saw an informed Perth Glory beat Wellington Phoenix 2-1 away from home. Andy Keogh scored the first goal of the game when a great cross from Richard Garcia ended up at the feet of Keogh, which he managed to tap in first time. It was 1-0, and Keogh barely had to do anything. He really didn't. He took about 3 steps and then tucked it home. So fantastic from Garcia. Castro netted the second for Glory in the 74th minute when he also managed to tap in from close range thanks to Harold. Harold had 2 strikes, 1-on-1 with Glenn Moss. The ball ended up at Castro's feet and he slotted home. It was 2-0. Things were looking good. But Doyle managed to grab a late goal for Wellington. It was only a consolation goal. It was the 92nd minute he managed to score, and then not long after, the final whistle was blown. So Perth Glory getting very lucky there. They need to pay attention to the final whistle. But Wellington's finals chances are practically gone. Perth Glory, on the other hand, in the 6th. It looks like they're going to stay there. Wellington need to win their next 3 games in a row. They need to overturn a 10-goal deficit, and I need to hope Melbourne Victory, Sydney FC, Newcastle Jets don't pick up points. It's that simple. If Melbourne Victory pick up a point, Wellington Phoenix's title, their finals chances are over. So Wellington Phoenix, I'm sorry, but I think you guys are done. And then the final game of the weekend, so my team, Melbourne Victory, draw 1-1 with a 10-man Newcastle Jets. Newcastle looked the better team on the day. They took the lead 10 minutes before the half-time break. Then 2 minutes later, Mullen was sent off for Newcastle, and Melbourne Victory had 45 minutes. They had a whole half to overturn a 1-goal deficit. They needed to score 2. They're playing against 10 men. You should be winning. There is no doubt you should be winning. But what can I say? Barisha scored. It wasn't enough. It was 1-1. It ended 1-1. And it's terrible overall. Now, I already have covered that fixture in another video. I'll leave a link down in the description below. Make sure you check it out because a bit of anger. I'll tell you that now. There was a bit of anger. But we will now go to the A-League ladder and see how things stand. So let me just bring this up on my screen here. We have Western Sydney Wanderers, who currently sit on top of the table thanks to a 0-0 draw. We have Melbourne City in second. They climb the table, 1 point behind Western Sydney. Now, if it does go to goal difference for those two teams, Melbourne City going to take it. They've got 11 more goals than Western Sydney Wanderers, so I would not be surprised there. 11? Yeah, 11. All right. Also, we need to look at it like this. Brisbane Roar have dropped. They're still on 41 points. Not looking good for them. Adelaide United have slipped down to 4th now. 40 points for them. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Perth Glory haven't fully cemented their spot yet. They are 6 points ahead of Sydney FC though. So Perth Glory need to lose 2, maybe 3 of their last 3 games, while Sydney FC can't. They need to win every week. If they don't win every week, then their chances are practically done. Melbourne Victory sitting 6th. We were gifted. Central Coast did us a favour. They managed to pick up a point. They stopped Sydney FC from gaining 2 on us. We still have a 3-point gap, but with 3 games to go, things aren't looking good for us. So we really need to turn around and just perform as good as we can in the next 3 weeks. Sydney FC sitting 7th, 31 points. They can still make finals. They should do. They won't, though. I'm hoping they won't. Newcastle Jets sitting at 8th, 27 points. 7 points behind Melbourne Victory. They can still do it, but they must get 3 wins, just like Wellington Phoenix. And then Central Coast do currently sit bottom of the table. We already know their story and their season. Bruno Fornaroli tops the goal scorers chart of 20. McLaren 17. Barisha 16. Diego Castro on 12. And Aaron Moy on 11. Aaron Moy and Bruno Fornaroli. If Melbourne City didn't have them, Melbourne City would have nothing at all. Assists, Aaron Moy on 18. Mark Bridge on 7. Broich, Navillo, and Risdon round that out. Aaron Moy's got 18. That's just ridiculous. Thomas Sorensen, 92 saves. Birighetti, 89. Glenn Moss, 81. Paul Izzo, 63. And Danny Vukovic, 62. He did not feature this weekend, so obviously he hasn't climbed up the charts. Completed passes, Corona, looks like he has taken it out. Jade North, Jack Hingett can overtake him. Don't forget Hingett, though, is it Hingett? He's suspended for next week, so he's not going to make it. Looks like Corona is going to be the biggest passer of the A-League this season. And then we go to clearances. Matthew German, 81. Andrew Durante on 81 as well. He looks like he's picked up a leg injury this week, though, so he might not be available for next week. So German still leads it equal with Durante. Then Poscaliero, Daniel Mullen, who was red carded again, and Mathieu Delpierre rounds it out. But that is it for my fixture review for the fixtures of week 24. If you've enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash the like button. Subscribe to see more Hyundai A-League content. And hopefully I catch you guys on another video.